Hello. Okay, this little video is just a little bit on lip mapping. When I say lip mapping, it's hard to actually say, okay, this is, where you're going to insert X amount, X amount, X amount, X amount every single time in a client, because again, everyone's lips are different. Some, they might have a larger size on one area, so you're going to put more product into the other. So you've just got to use your initiative and use your little brain. So, just a little tip, actually, before I forget to say, when you are treating a client and you're so close to a client sometimes that you don't actually see it properly, so stand back, give it a minute, stand back, have a look at their lips and see if they're symmetrical as much as you can. The only time that I'd actually stop, obviously, if you see any instant really bad swelling or bleeding, or that one side has become really swollen and you can't work out how much more product to put in. So I'd always just be cautious as to carry on the treatment, because if that looks really swollen, it may be just swollen. So it'll look like you've put loads of product in when you haven't at all. It's just actually swelling from 0.02 mil, and you end up putting half the other stuff in here. And then when it all calms down, this side of the lip's going to be bigger than this side. So just be cautious on that. And when it comes to lip mapping, again, you have to keep away from below the waterline. So the waterline, if you play with your own lips, lift them inside out, should I say, from the top off, you'll see it's obviously wet one side and dry the other. Always keep to, so if we lifted this up, this is actually the wet side because it's more inside your mouth. Keep it on the waterline. Don't go behind the waterline or into the waterline. And again, the same with your bottom lip. Keep within the line just before it gets watery, if that hopefully makes sense. You'll know when you pop your own lip open. Not literally pop your lip open. So we've got the Vermilion Border, which is literally the border around your lips. And we want to add volume to the Vermilion volume areas. So Vermilion volume areas are usually here, 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 and also here. We are going to be inserting the product actually more than the 5 areas, because we can't put in 0.0 of a mil or anything like that straight away in one area, because it'll fire out. We'd lose a lot of product. So we do have to kind of space it out as such. Again, volume is from kind of going, and you want to use the pocket technique. So you want to always be supporting the lip and the teeth. Careful with the teeth. I tend to not put anything in the corners when possible. I do find that's where they are more likely to bruise. The lips are thinner and there's no fat around that area as such. So yeah, if you can, and I find that there's more veins or blood vessels here. So please just be cautious when you do round here. If you can avoid there, great. It depends on someone's lips. And again, if it's someone's first treatment and they want a full 1 mil, sometimes you may only be able to get in 0.5 mil over the first treatment. So the first sitting, give them 0.5 mil, well, insert 0.5 mil, and then the next week, insert the other 0.5 mil. I find that a lot easier than trying to find, because sometimes, depending on the lips, if they've only got small lips, finding space to put 1 mil in with the Hyaluron pens can be tricky, because obviously it's not a needle. So a needle, we'll be able to find each insertion very, very easily. However, because we're using one of these, it's a little bit harder. So that's the only thing I'd say, obviously when it comes to the Hyaluron pen, split the treatment over 2 sessions. And it's better for the clients as well, because if they do swell and then they come back, you can see which side is better for you, better for them to have more product in. and to make sure that it's even, and there's product left over then. So you know, if you end up putting more in one area than the other, then obviously next time they come, swap it over, swap it about. Also, don't ever put any product in the middle of the Cupid's bow. That's mainly because we want to keep the Cupid's bow as a bow. We don't want to put any products in there to flatten it out. We want that nice contour effect. I've said before, I recommend always using about 0.03 mil on average per shot. So that is literally 3 of those little lines. That's 0.03 mil. Because remember, this is a full 0.5 mil. So the capsule, or ampule, whatever you want to call it, people call it different, 0.5 mil. It's a full 0.5 mil, this one. So if you're using this on a client that wants 1 mil, you'd be using 2 of them. And again, the 0.03, so remember it's 0.03. That is 3 of those little lines. Then you've got 0.02 you can use, and 0.04. Just be wary on the 0.04. There might be a bit more product loss. I'm sorry if my writing's going off this camera. There you go. Product loss. So 0.04 mil, there might be product loss, but that's more likely when someone's got really thin lips, or someone who's had lots of fillers before. The body can only have so much. So if you find there's a lot of product firing back out, or coming, well, I say firing back out, coming around off the sides, and the lips are too wet, then the body's rejecting it. So you're going to have to lower it down to 0.03 or 0.02 mil. So on, let me get this here. So when it comes to actually inserting the product, if someone had perfect symmetrical lips, probably not my drawing. I'm going to go for the 0.02 mil now, for calculations purposes. So 0.02 mil, we're going to use at a time. So ignore, let me take that off. Going back to your pen. You've obviously done all your little bits and bobs, but just get used to this part. So the 0.02, I'm literally turning it until I've gone down 2 lines. So if I can see here, 1, 2, and then, oh, I didn't pull that. It's a good start, isn't it? Start again. So pull the lever and then turn 0.02. Okay. So we've got 0.02 and we're going to start in the vermilion body. So we can do side to side and do 1 here, then a 0.02 here, so on, so on, so on, so on. So we can keep looking backwards and forwards if it's even on each side. So you've got 0.02, 0.02 on and on, another, try and get 4 in here. So if you've done that 4 times, so there's 1, I'm not going to click it now, so there's 2, 3, 4, so you've used just over 2, 4, 6, 8, used about nearly 0.1 mil. So you can see how many times. So say if that area you've only just put 0.1 mil, because you've done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, it's actually 0.8, so you've got a little bit left over. But say we'll round up to 0.1 mil on this side here. Again, 0.1 mil on this side. So the top of the lips you've used, can you see here, sorry, let me just move that in. So on this side Sorry, on the top of the lips, up to now we've used, no we haven't, 0.2 mil. If we went to use again, similar amount down at the bottom of the lips, again, if someone has got, you know, you don't want a massive bottom lip and tiny upper lip, you want it to, you know, to have a bit of, you know, volume, but if someone's got a very big bottom lip already, only put a certain amount in. So say if someone's lips are the same each side, top and bottom, and you put another 0.02 in 4 times, this is obviously not going to happen with everyone at all. Every client's different. So then it would be the same as here. So it would be another 0.2 mils. So in total, now we've actually used 0.4 mil. Okay. And one of these is 0.5. So we've still got that 0.1 mil left to use. So the 0.1 mil, you can split how you wish. So you can look at popping some more around here, some in here, and then if you can, obviously be careful going too far to the edges. You can use more product at the top, but if you can see there, that was only using 0.5 mil of the product. So imagine if you try to use a whole 1 mil on that person, unless you were using 0.4 in each part, then it's doable. If you're only using 0.02, it's going to be quite tricky. So that's why I say split the sessions twice.